If you've ever had that heart-stopping moment, phone tumbling towards the sink, or worse, the toilet,
If you've all been there.
you grab it, you dry it, maybe you do the whole rice thing, and then this massive sigh of relief when the screen comes back on,
Yeah.
and you tell yourself, okay, I dried it out, it should be fine.
And that one thought, that comforting little lie we tell ourselves, is the number one myth we're going to just completely demolish today.
Right.
Because the moment of water exposure, or if it turns on right after, is, well, it's almost irrelevant. Repairing liquid damage isn't a moisture problem. It's a fight against a really aggressive chemical reaction.
Exactly. So our mission for you today in this deep dive is to get past that simple idea of moisture. We need to see this for what it is, a chemical and a structural failure. We're going to explore why these repairs are so unstable.
Right, because when a phone gets wet,
Yeah.
that immediate short circuit, that's at the beginning. The real enemy, the thing that causes failures weeks or even months later, is what the water leaves behind.
So we're not actually talking about the water molecules themselves.
Not at all. The biggest enemy isn't H2O. It's the invisible stuff, the minerals, salts, all the impurities that are left when the water evaporates.
And even tap water is full of that.
Oh, absolutely. And what does that residue do? It starts destroying things. It kicks off a process we call gradual decay.
Gradual decay.
Yeah, think of it like this. Your phone is working, but you've basically left a tiny corrosive chemical film coating everything inside. That film causes oxidation.
So rust.
It's literally rust. It's
Yeah.
slowly, relentlessly eating the copper traces and the solder on the motherboard. The phone was never fine. The decay just hadn't eaten through something critical yet.
Wow. So it's not cleaning a mess, it's trying to stop a slow motion chemical fire. And does that residue also start connecting things that shouldn't be connected?
That is the perfect question. That leads us to microscopic bridging. And, here's where it gets really interesting. These leftover minerals, they form these tiny, unintentional electrical pathways, bridges, between solder joints or components that are right next to each other.
So they're creating little electrical detours?
Detours that suck power. Exactly. We call it leakage or a parasitic draw. It's current just flowing where it has no business being.
And that's why your battery might die really fast or the phone gets warm for no reason.
That's it precisely. That heat is from those tiny bridges struggling to handle electricity they were never designed for.
And the worst part is that they're not permanent. Right, they're like little electrical ghosts.
Completely transient. Because they're so small, a tiny flex of the case when you pick it up might break the connection. Then when the phone warms up, things expand and the bridge forms again.
So it's an intermittent fault, a true diagnostic nightmare.
The ultimate nightmare.
Okay, so that chaos must be doing serious damage to specific parts of the phone. Let's talk about that, the component catastrophe. Where does the liquid hit hardest?
We always have to start with the motherboard, the logic board. The immediate short might fry a resistor or something small, but the real terror for a technician is under chip corrosion.
Under the chips themselves.
Specifically the BGA chips. That's liquid that has wicked itself underneath the main processors.
And for anyone listening, can you just quickly break down what a BGA chip is?
Sure. BGA is ball grid array. So the chip is a big black square, but underneath it's connected by hundreds of microscopic solder balls.
It's like tiny little feet.
A perfect way to think of it. And liquid gets trapped in that grid, and it just cannot evaporate from there. You can't see it. You can't clean it with a brush.
So the chip is basically a ticking time bomb.
It absolutely is. The corrosion just eats away at those solder balls until the connection fails. To fix it properly, you have to physically remove the chip, clean everything, and then rebuild all those connections. It's incredibly difficult.
A huge vulnerability. And it's not just the board. What about something like the display or the battery?
The display is so fragile. Water gets between the layers, the digitizer, the backlight films.
Yeah.
And even if it works, you get these permanent bruises.
Patchy light or bleeding around the edge.
Yep. Or the worst one, ghost touch. That's the residue shorting out the touch layer intermittently.
And the battery, I can only imagine.
It hates liquid.
Yeah.
It usually attacks the protection circuit module, the PCM. It's the tiny brain on the battery pack.
Right, the safety circuit.
Exactly. If that gets damaged, the battery can swell up, which is a huge safety risk.
Right.
Or it just won't hold a charge properly no matter what.
So corrosion, component failures, these transient electrical bridges, it all paints a picture of total instability.
And that instability is where we find the gremlins, the intermittent faults. You might fix one problem, say a bad charging port,
Okay.
only to find out that when the port shorted, it sent a voltage spike down the line and damaged something else.
You're talking about a secondary short? It's like playing technical whack-a-mole.
It is. And the mole you often end up hitting is the PMIC, the Power Management Integrated Circuit. That's the master controller for all the power in the phone. If that's compromised, the device is just permanently questionable.
That sets us up perfectly. Okay, let's unpack this. Since the residue is the real enemy, how much does the type of liquid change the game?
It changes everything. Everything. Because the contaminants are the fuel for that chemical reaction we talked about. There is a clear hierarchy of horror.
A hierarchy of horror. I like that. Give us the spectrum.
So on the modern end, you have fresh water, tap water, rain. The main problem there is just standard mineral deposits and oxidation. We can usually handle that.
But I'm guessing it ramps up pretty quickly.
Oh, fast. Next is high difficulty. That's your sugary drink soda, coffee, or chlorinated pool water. Chlorine just eats away at seals and plastics.
And sugar. I imagine it's more than just sticky.
So much worse. Sugary residue is conductive, but it's also hygroscopic.
Meaning?
It actively pulls moisture out of the air, even weeks later. So it perpetually restarts the corrosion process all by itself.
So it creates its own fuel. Wow, okay, and at the very top of the scale, the absolute worst case.
The death blow. Salt water.
Why is it so bad?
Extreme difficulty. Often a total write-off. The sodium and chloride ions are electrolytes, and they massively accelerate corrosion. Where fresh water might take days to do real damage, salt water can destroy copper traces in minutes. A permanent fix is, well, it's close to impossible.
So if the liquid is the variable, the cleaning has to be the defense. But a customer thinks a professional clean means it's good as new. That's not the reality, is it?
Not at all, and that's the core conflict. A manual clean with a brush and alcohol can only get what's on the surface. It can't get under the metal shields on the board, and it definitely can't get under those BGA chips.
So that's when you bring out the big guns, the ultrasonic cleaner.
Right, and ultrasonic is amazing. It uses sound waves to create tiny imploding bubbles that scrub surfaces. But even then, there is no 100% guarantee you got every single corrosive molecule.
And I assume that guarantee is completely gone if the damage is structural, not just chemical.
You've hit it exactly. We can remove residue, but we can't undo structural damage. If the liquid was really aggressive, it can cause the PCB, the circuit board, to delaminate.
Delaminate, like the layers of plywood peeling apart?
That is the perfect analogy. The board is made of fused layers of fiberglass and copper. If corrosion burns a path between those layers, the whole structure is compromised. Cleaning can't glue it back together.
So you have a board that is just fundamentally weakened and waiting to fail.
Right. It's just waiting for the next jolt of power to short out completely.
This all paints such a clear picture of just hidden, deep-seated instability.
So what does this all mean for the device's future? For the customer? So what does this all mean?
It means we have to shift the entire purpose of the repair. Because liquid damage is so unpredictable, a repaired phone can never, ever be as reliable as it was before. The corrosion might just be paused, not stopped.
So every liquid-damaged phone is always living with a pre-existing condition. It is. And that's why the industry standard has had to evolve. Many, many reputable shops now treat these jobs as data recovery-only missions.
Not a permanent fix for the device.
No, we're not offering a long-term warranty on the phone's function.
That's a huge distinction. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the goal isn't really to give you back a reliable phone anymore. It's to get your photos, your contacts, your life off that device before the chemical clock runs out.
You are paying us to beat the clock. That's the calculation.
We've taken this deep dive to see the enemy isn't water, it's gradual decay from minerals, it's microscopic bridges causing these weird parasitic draws, and aggressive liquids like salt water are a practical guarantee of failure. And no amount of cleaning can fix a board that's literally peeling apart.
Which leads to the final thought I wanted to leave you with. If oxidation is a slow-burn chemical process, just think. How much hidden, latent damage is sitting inside every single phone that was just dry out and seemed okay. Every little bump, every change in temperature is just waiting for the right moment to form that next microscopic bridge. The failure isn't a possibility, it's an inevitability. The only question is when.